There was a Blue Origin static fire anomaly last night on May 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Launch Complex 36 with this New Glenn rocket. You've all seen the explosion, so we're going to cover what mainstream media is missing about this failure and what space fans should expect going forward. This is your Space Pod for May 29th, 2026. Hi, I'm Chad, your host for today's Space Pod. Well, we've let the fires and smoke settle, so we're going right into a few things you actually need to be aware of about the static fire test anomaly. Yes, this was just an engine test, not an actual launch. This test was supposed to run all 7 BE-4 engines for a small burst of time. Well, so much for that idea. The first thing the media is sucking at telling you is how this is affecting other space companies such as ULA or United Launch Alliance. The New Glenn rocket that exploded uses 7 BE-4 engines developed by Blue Origin. But this same engine is also used on ULA's Vulcan rocket. Now that is definitely something to be concerned with. Now here's the thing. The Vulcan rocket only uses 2 of these engines, while the New Glenn uses 7. Perhaps the failure is rooted in the clustering of 7 engines versus only having 2. More complex systems and heat are generated using 7 engines. So is the core issue being the lack of testing these 7 engines? Well, that brings us to the launch cadence Blue Origin was trying to go for. With about 1 launch per month, Blue Origin needs to slow the hell down here. The Amazon Leo launch campaign may have been another contributing factor in not only distracting from thorough testing of these engines, but also as an entire production line of rapid reusability, just biting off way more than it could chew. Now we are seeing the real or Freudian slip reasons that the ULA Atlas V rocket is launching some of the Blue Origin's Amazon Leo satellites to help with the launch cadence. This is also part of Space Force's Assured Access to Space initiative. Rapid reusability now looks like a few years into the future, but not anytime in 2026. So you're probably wondering about the aftermath of the explosion. Yeah, let's just say that the pad is totally cooked. We can see on the right the lightning tower completely wrangled and mangled, and on the left, although this tower is still standing, there is still significant damage to the structure to either need a section repair or a complete rebuild. The New Glenn launches out of Launch Complex 36 from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, and judging by the aerial footage of the damage, we are looking at least 1 year to repair the pad. However, the launch vehicle itself could be remedied in just a few months. I would recommend research and development to be prioritized for the launch vehicle and not any of the payloads. So rocket explosions are something even new to me personally. I want to set the record straight, however, on what an explosion actually sounds like if you were far away and inside. What I thought was the sound of someone punching my living room wall was later found out to be this explosion after I had hopped on Twitter. Reports by people living in the Orlando area have seen what looked like a bright cloud of fire rising up. And if you lived on the Space Coast, you saw a mushroom cloud like an atomic bomb that went off. And considering we are in wartime, the locals here were diabolically freaking out that the war has now reached American soil. Holy crap. So what do you think will happen with the Artemis program after this? This may depend on SpaceX now with its Starship program. And also, where were you when this exploded? Let us know down in the comments, and we would love to engage with you further. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you're notified of our next full-length show. Again, my name is Chad, and I will see you out on the launch pad.